So how did you personally deal with the pressure during such a large-scale tragedy?
As one of the rescue officers, we're working against the clock. There is hopes and dreams riding on our back. We are risking our own lives to save the lives of others.
The comments where people would say, hey, why don't you guys just go faster? Just dig it.
What we're doing, there are rules and regulations that we must follow. Everyone wants the loved one to come out to be saved. But I would say, and the point is a rescue officer, that the safety of our own officers and volunteers is important as well. The situation is extremely difficult. This is the highest building ever to collapse in Bangkok, Thailand. Removing each floor is really difficult. We are trying our best and we will always push forward. We always try until we get the last person out of that building.
It's true that good people tend to die young. Would you still be a good person?
If I'm gonna die young, well, at least I died a good life. I died doing good deeds. I died doing good things that I can be remembered by. If I'm gonna die in a few days or in a few weeks, I'll be remembered from what I did. I think that I'm happy.
Hey guys, welcome to Time Truth. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Well, I would have to say it will be a little bit more serious this time. เชื่อว่าหลายคนนะคะน่าจะยังคงติดตามเกี่ยวกับสถานการณ์ความคืบหน้านะคะของโศกนาฏกรรมแผ่นดินไหวที่เกิดขึ้นในประเทศไทยและประเทศเพื่อนบ้านของเรานะคะซึ่งในเอพิโซดนี้เราอยู่กับเจ้าหน้าที่กู้ภัยตัวจริงเลยค่ะคุณบูมค่ะ Let's get right into it คุณบูมคะ would you like to introduce yourself a little bit more and your hobbies, what do you do in your free time?
So, sawasdee krab. My name is Norapol. My nickname is Boomer, or people usually call me Boom for short. Currently for my business side, I am currently a managing director of a real estate development firm. And as you know, I am the international liaison officer of Rungtanyu Foundation. For my free time, I usually spend, well, since I'm a part owner of a bar in Batatong Road called Filter Room, I usually spend my free time there chilling with my friends and, having some alone time.
Nice. It seems to me like you're doing a lot of things in the same time. So would you like to tell us more about your tips on how you manage your time?
Well, I might not be a great example because my schedule is a bit all over the place right now. But I usually manage my time by creating a schedule beforehand, organizing everything and having some time, for myself to be alone, to, reflect on everything I do. I believe that's really helped me, even if my schedule is packed, I usually have time to, sit by myself, read some books or call a friend, lift some stuff out of my chest. Yeah.
Right. Would you be able to go deeper into your daily routine on like what time do you usually wake up or, what do you do in the afternoon or at night?
It depends on the day, but usually I wake up around 9 a.m. And I start off with organizing my businesses first. And then if there's need, I usually schedule a time to go into the collapse or the situation where I can go help. Like if there's beforehand there was like international teams coming in and news channels. So I usually know when they're coming in and going and help them, spending time with them, answering their questions. But lately it's a bit slower, that the time I have to spend there is a bit shorter. So I usually go in at night more often.
So I want to know what is the main reason you decide to become a rescue volunteer?
Well, I have to first clarify that my grandfather was founder and chairman of Rungtanyu Foundation. So it's safe to say I was part of the foundation since I was really young. And becoming part of this was almost by nature, I believe. I was always within the circle where I have to go out and help people, go and give stuff to people who are in need. So it mostly helps me learn more about around the world, that there are people who may not be as
lucky.
as lucky as us, and there are people who need stuff more than us. So yeah,
So how did that shape you as a child?
it shaped me in a way where, well, I was born in a family where it was given that we always have to take care of other people more than ourselves. So I kind of have to, it kind of shaped me in a way where I learned to take care of other people, sometimes more than my own self. Sometimes I give too much, and it helps me learn that it helps create a feeling where other people's happiness is my own happiness. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
It does seem to me like you're such a great giver. All you do is giving. You've been giving to a lot of people. Have you ever felt drained by that?
I guess the world works in mysterious ways. When you give without expecting anything in return, you often meet with people who are givers as well, where they give you without expecting anything for return as well. Yeah, so I believe giving without expecting anything is a great way to, lead your life, to spend your time.
So what would you suggest to those givers who are tired from, giving and being taken all the time, that they felt like they want to stop giving?
Well, I understand those who say like they give and they are taken advantage of, but I believe it's not the problem from the giver, but more of the taker. Where if you're taken advantage of, it's really not your fault. It's really who you are giving to.
So what you're saying is we should stop giving to people who are trying to take advantage of us from being nice.
Yeah, in a way, but I believe it's more of like when you give, you don't really expect who you want to give to or who's taking advantage of you, since you're not really expecting anything back from them. You give because you want to treat that people. You want to treat those who are in need.
So you mentioned that your grandfather is the founder of Ruam Gatanyu. Wow. So growing up in such family, how did that shape you? Like, what kind of influence did that have on you growing up?
Well, since I grew up in a family whose main goal was always to take care of other people, to always give to those who are in need, I believe it shaped me in a way where I always want to take care of other people or those around me, even if it's my friends, my coworkers, or even if it's people who I don't know, who I know are in need. So yeah, sometimes I take care of others more than my own self, but I have a sense of happiness from seeing other people smile or
Wow.
seeing like they're being happy.
Nice. So people are lucky to be around you.
I guess so.
Have your friends ever mentioned that you're such a great giver?
Well, I would say I have a great group of friends who are givers as well. So whatever I gave them, they have some sense of what they can help me, what they can support me. Yeah, so I would greatly appreciate and thank my friends.
That you have such a great circle. I mean, would that consider to be luck or by chance or, by choose?
I don't know if it's fate, but I would say it's a bit of luck, I guess. Yeah.
So what if I'm unlucky? What if, I'm this type of person where I like to give it to other people, but it seems to me like, my friends are not giving me back anything. Would you recommend me to, change my circle?
I really won't say if you should change your circle, but I would say if you are a great person, someday you will finally meet someone who is a great person as well, and great people meet great people, I would say.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, despite of having a lot of opportunities in business, why did you decide to join, the rescue work?
I would say the rescue work for me, I can't say on behalf of other volunteers or other officers, but I would say for me, it's a way of distressing from my businesses. My mental health is much more fulfilled from these kind of work. I get to meet people who are in need. I get to help them see their smile, see their happiness, and I guess it really distresses me and helps me clear my mind from all the work and from all the other businesses.
So if I'm a businesswoman who works all the time, I should be finding some type of activities
I
to
guess
distract me
so.
from work.
Yeah, because sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, and I don't know if it will work for other people, but for me, it helps a lot in doing this type of work without wanting anything for return.
So would you recommend people to join the rescue work?
I won't recommend everybody, but I would say they could try. You don't always have to go out and save people who they're bleeding or save people who is deceased, but you can help in small amounts, I would say. So you can help by doing charity work, doing good deeds, I would say.
Right. To fulfill yourself.
Yeah, I guess.
Now let's talk about your first rescue case. How did you feel?
Well, my first case ever was an incident near Megabangna. It was a woman who was driving her motorcycle to work, and it was raining all day, and she slipped from her motorcycle, and a truck came by and crushed her head. Yeah. It was really devastating, but may she rest in peace, but her brains were everywhere. And for my first case was a bit of a shock.
How old were you at that time?
I believe it was around 19 or 18 during that age. Yeah, but I was always taught by my family to treat those who are in need or treat the deceased as if it was your cousin or family members. So it kind of made me not scared, but a bit sad by that situation. But it helps me help them better. It helps me get in the feeling is, okay, I have to go do something. I have to go help, no matter if it's someone who I don't know at all.
It is such a great point that you brought up, that you're supposed to be looking at other people that you're helping, just consider them to be one of your family members. But is it that easy to be thinking that way?
I would say I kind of trick myself. I guess it's a bit of a trick to help you not get scared, or to help you get over your feeling of this is someone who I don't know at all. It helps me go in and be able to lift their body, and it helps me go in and save them as best as I could. So yeah, I guess it's a bit of a trick for me.
Would you like to share how you come up with that trick? Or
I didn't come up with it, but I was taught from my family members, and yeah, that's how I try to go in and save every situation, every cases that I went through.
So how did your mom and dad or your parents say about what you're doing? Were they proud, or?
They are proud, I guess. They really appreciate me stepping in and helping them, because I know it's a bit overwhelming for my family members, but I try to ease their work and try to help as much as I could.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
So is there any specific case that you could never ever forget?
I would say it was a case I stated beforehand. The reason it was stuck in my head and always stuck in my memory was that the woman who was driving the motorcycle was a nurse who was heading to the hospital to work, and she was not in the wrong. The truck driver was not in the wrong as well. They were both doing their work, but just a bit of rain has started that whole scenario.
So does it ever occur to you that life is so not fair? Why good people have to die?
Yeah, it did occur to me, but I still can't find the answer why. I was always taught that good people often died fast, but I never really understood that
But what do
statement.
you think about that sentence, of that saying? Then that means that I'm not supposed to be a good person if I want to live longer?
Well, I don't think so, but I believe life is really short, so whatever you can do in your lifespan, just do it. Just do good deeds without expecting that it will make you live longer or shorter. Just do whatever you want to do. And yeah, if it doesn't harm anyone, I guess better that way.
Now that was pretty graphic. So how did you manage to stay grounded after such incident or some emotional damage?
Well, I would say I have a really group of friends who are always there to support me, even though they might not be doing the same work that I do. But I can always call them, ask them for their opinion, or just talk with them and lift these feelings from my chest. So I would say it really helps for me to de-escalate my own situation and help me calm myself down.
So solutions, like the best solution for you is to get that out of your chest by talking to someone that you trust.
Well, I would say I am an expressive person, so talking really helps me, lift all these feelings or all these emotions away and help me, focus more on what I have to do and focus more on myself and my mental health and my situation as well.
So how do you feel when someone say that if you're being too expressive, you're showing people how weak you are?
I would say I would deny that. I would say that being expressive is being yourself. So if someone is going to love you or is someone going to trust you, it's better if they trust you as you being yourself more than you faking it or being someone else.
มีเรื่องไหนอีกไหมคะที่เป็นการแบบ take care of your own mental health except for talking to someone that you trust?
I would say I often do activities that might not be business work or might not be something that would give me anything, but more give me some feeling of distressing, such as spending time with my friends to go fishing or to go do certain activities that help me focus on different things or start focusing on those emotional damaging stuff.
So you don't have to be productive all the time.
Yeah, I guess being productive all the time is really stressful for a person to take hold of all that emotions.
Because with the social media nowadays, they're telling you to be productive. You have to get up at 5 a.m., exercise, and then read some books, and then do this and that. How do you feel about that?
Well, I understand that to become more productive, it really helps you become a person who can organize your own life as well. But I believe that, everyone needs some alone time. Everyone needs some time to de-stress and calm yourself down, have some fun. Life doesn't have to be always like this. You can relax as well. It really helps, I guess.
So, you've seen so much.
Mm-hmm.
Tears, death, lives. What has that taught you about life?
It taught me a really important lesson. It taught me that life is really short. Like, I know you may hear this all the time. Everyone may hear this all the time, that life is short. But trust me, life is really, really short. Like, I'm not cursing anyone, but you can die any day from now, like tomorrow or even a week from now. So I guess it taught me a lesson where, whenever I am in hesitation or whenever I can't decide on anything, I would tell myself that life is short, so just do it. Yeah. You may not have the time in the future, so whatever you want to do, if it doesn't harm anyone, I would just do it straight away.
So that makes you become the person where you just kind of feel like, oh, hey, wait, what if I do that? I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm just going to do it anyway because life is short.
Yeah. If it doesn't work, then I'll try another thing. But I guess it's better if you try and you know it doesn't work than believing that this may not work and you don't do anything at all.
So, what would you suggest to those people who are still in doubt with their abilities or, they're still concerning about making mistakes if they want to try something new?
From a business point of view, I believe that mistakes is good. Making mistakes really taught me more than not succeeding or taught me more than succeeding in work. So if you always succeed, you never know what you're doing wrong. You never know what doesn't work. But if you fail, you always know, okay, this doesn't work. I could try something else. Okay, this doesn't fit what you're trying to do. Okay, I can try a new thing. Yeah, so for me, making mistakes is good. Making mistakes really taught me to learn from my lesson and move on.
Yeah, just like they say, you learn more from your mistakes than your success. When everything seems lost or hopeless, how do you build up your hope again? For example, the situation where you went through recently, in other people's points of view, it's hopeless. And how do you deal with that? Like, how did you keep going, even though everybody keeps saying that, they're not going to make it?
What makes me keep going is the people who hopes are riding on not only my back, but on every other rescue workers and volunteers' back. But we all, even if we are tired or even if we are devastated, we always know that there are people who are waiting for their family members to go home, and their hopes and dreams are riding on our back. So, it helps build my hope and helps me be more motivated to, we must keep pushing on and, focus on what we have to do. So their hopes and dreams can be restored, I guess.
I feel like crying. น้ำตาจะไหลเลยนะคะSo when you feel like your hopes is gone, you can think about some other people or someone else that still rely on you. During the recent building collapse, what was your responsibility and what was the situation like when you first arrived?
My responsibility during the building collapse was I was assigned as the International Liaison Officer of Remington Youth Foundation. So for the first few days, I was working with the foreign news channels and the foreign rescue teams. I was helping them, answering their questions, guiding them, and, explaining the situation that's going on. And for the rescue teams, there was the Israelis and the United States who came. So I was working as a translator to help, help them guide their knowledge for the Thai teams and for the other rescue teams who are working there. Yeah, but after a while, after the foreign news channels and the foreign teams left, I was part of the search team where I went in and helped search for the victims who were stuck inside the building collapse, and was also part of the DVI, which is the Disaster Victim Interpol, where we access the deceased victim and access their bodies and see if what sex they are, to see their situation and to understand more of what is going on in different areas of the building collapse.
Let's talk about the translation part. What was the hardest part for you to work on? Having to work together with the international team and have to translate everything that they're trying to communicate in Thai and English back and forth.
Well, I guess the hardest part was not really the translation, but more of like having different teams from different countries. They have different rules and regulations for how they operate. So their opinion may be of what works for their home country, but may not be what works for our country. And having this difference in opinion can really be hard to move on and focus on what we have to do.
Totally get it. So how did you manage to deal with all the controversies or the I would say argument that was happening?
Well, I tried my best to understand both parts since they have different knowledge and different skills. Well, both are useful in my opinion, but I believe what works is finding the middle of what we could do and what we could combine our knowledge together and our skills together. And I believe finding the middle really helps in, okay, this is what we're going to do. Like we can combine both of our knowledge, both of our skills to do it this way.
So you were not just a translator, but also a decision maker at that.
I would not say I'm a decision maker. That would be a bit too much for me, but I would say I was helping in making the decision more clear, I guess.
So how do you think language learning has shaped who you are today? And not just as a rescue officer, but as a person as a whole?
I would say language really shaped who I am. I believe I am more expressive when learning these languages. I came from the international school, from Concord International School, where it's a trilingual school. So I was taught English, Thai, and Chinese since I was young. And, having all these different languages under my belt, it really helps me become more expressive. I gain more opportunities, not only in businesses, but in making friends in rescue work, where I can communicate with other countries, other people from different nations. Yeah, so I guess it really shapes who I am.
Is it true that people who could speak more than one language would be more confident in living their life or making decisions?
I would guess so, but I'm not quite sure.
Do you think you're a confident person?
I guess I am, yeah.
And is that because you can speak 3 languages?
Well, I am more confident when I'm speaking in other countries where people, for example, in China, where other Thai people might not be able to communicate that well, since there is a bit of a language barrier. But yeah, I would guess I am more confident when I'm speaking, I'm able to speak in their own language and be able to communicate.
What do you mean by you're more confident when you're speaking that language in that country?
Well, I guess my confidence comes from where I can be able to communicate with the people, whereas other Thai people might not be able to.
Like, okay, other Thai people would need your help with the communication. Yeah. And have you ever been judged? Well, I know your English is great, your Chinese is great, but have you ever been judged at all when you're, speaking other languages in Thailand?
Oh, I don't remember any exact situation, but I guess there must have been one where I was judged for, speaking English or Chinese. Some people may see as, gade or something like that. Yeah, but I guess, I don't really care about what other people are saying. I try to focus on what I'm doing, my own opinion, and seeing as I don't think I'm harming anyone. I just do what I want to do or do what I have to do, I guess.
Since you're, you were born, well, I would say you were born confident and, you're in such a great circle. But some people are not that lucky. They were born in such circles where, they get judged all the time from trying to speak other languages with the accent. So what would you like to tell them?
I would tell them that other people's opinions, sometimes it doesn't really matter. Sometimes it hurts more than it helps you. So I guess just be confident in yourself. Like, whatever you want to do, just do it. If people are judging you, that means you're doing something they might not be able to do.
So how did you personally deal with the pressure during such a large-scale tragedy?
Well, as one of the rescue officers, we're working against the clock. As I stated beforehand, there's hopes and dreams riding on our back. So, I guess the pressure kind of motivates me and help me push forwards. So it helps me more than it hurts me, I guess.
So some people deal with the pressure, like people deal with pressure differently. You deal with it by thinking of it as something that motivates you. But what about other people who think that pressure is not such a good thing?
Well, I would say you could change your mindset in a way to, allow that pressure to help you, to help guide you in different ways. For me, pressure, I would look at it as a way of motivating myself. If someone is pressuring me that you can't do this, you'll never achieve this, I'll use that pressure to, okay, I'll achieve it and I'll prove to them that I can do it. I can finish this. I can do it on my own. I can do what they say I can't.
Show them that they're wrong.
Yeah. I
wow.
guess.
Such a great mindset.
Thank you.
So other than trying to help people who are stuck in the building, in the collapse, what are other things that you have to, deal with?
Well, I guess one of the parts was the family members who was waiting for the cousins or for the sons and daughters to come out of the collapse, I guess. Well, in a way, it kind of saddens me. In a way, it seeing their tears, seeing their hopes, kind of fades away, it really saddens me in a way. But I would say that pressure allowed me and many other officers and volunteers to push ourselves. As a foundation, we declared that we will not stop until the last person comes out of that building. Yeah, so I guess it pushes us.
And did you get a chance to talk to any of the members?
Unfortunately, I haven't got the chance to talk to the family members, but for my own self, I believe that, even though I never talk to them, I will try my best to help them and, help them bring their sons, their daughters, their family members home.
So what was the happiest moment that happened to you after, you've been helping a lot of lives and people?
I guess the happiest moment is seeing those family members who, they might not have their son back, but even having their bodies brought out, they're just happy from seeing seeing their son being able to come out and seeing their tears. It somewhat brings me hope in a way.
So you've probably have seen a lot of, all of us we're trying so hard to help in any kind of ways. Did that really help you guys with anything?
Yes, I would say it really helps us. We received praises or even just people bringing water, bringing food, helping the volunteers and officers. Just you don't have to bring any money. You just help us in certain little ways. It really brightened our day up, I guess. So I would really thank everyone who helped us and appreciate everything they have given us. Yeah.
That is so great to hear because, we would never know if what we're doing is helpful or not.
It is really helpful. And as I stated, money is not really what we want. What we want is just to help us in smaller gestures, I guess. Yeah.
Just like the dog's shoes.
Yeah. And those little gestures really, help us feel more motivated, brighten our day, help us push ourselves.
So in a crisis like this, what's something that the public might not understand about what you're dealing with?
Well, I guess the public might not understand that what we're doing, there are rules and regulations that we must follow. I understand where people say everyone wants the loved one to come out to be saved, but I would say, and the point is a rescue officer, that the safety of our own officers and volunteers is important as well. This building is really hard. The situation is extremely difficult. This is the highest building ever to collapse in Bangkok, Thailand. The last building was around 10 stories high, and this building was 30 stories, and it was stuck in a pancake. So removing each floor is really difficult. The first few days, it was part of saving people who might still be alive. And, using heavy machinery would destroy that chance. So you have to use by hand or by small machineries to help cut down and get access to those people. So yeah, the debris really slows us down. But as I always say, we are trying our best and we'll always push forward. We'll always try until we get the last person out of that building.
So did it discourage you to see the comments where people would say, hey, why don't you guys just go faster? Just dig it.
No, it didn't discourage me, but I look at it in a way where they might not understand what the current situation is going on. So I try to stay away from those comments as much as possible.
So that's how you deal with negative comments?
Yeah, I try to stay clear from these comments and try to focus on what I think I'm doing and try to do what I think is best for the current situation.
So if you could ask for just one thing from, the government or whoever, what would that be?
Well, I can't say on behalf of every other rescue officers and volunteers, but I would say, just support us in a way. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about in small little gestures. Like, for example, if you see a rescue car, a rescue van passing you on the highway, just moving out of the way can really help de-escalate the situation and really help save the life of those who might be in the car and might be in a situation where they are near death, and having the speed or having this time can really save their lives.
Because I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people who still believe that, those kind of sirens wouldn't really matter. Like, they're just BS.
Yeah, I understand. And I would say people won't really know how important it is until their family members are in that van or in that car. So I'm not saying like, you should always, I don't know how to say this. I'm not saying that everyone is good. Every volunteer, every officer is doing what they should do. There might be person who is doing it for their own good and not really doing something beneficial. But, I always look at it in a positive way and, try to do what's good for those.
Right. In every society, there are good people and bad people.
Yeah.
You can always choose which side you want to be. So, this question might be a little bit hard for you to answer, but what would you think Thailand would be like if there were no corruptions at all?
I would guess Thailand would be a better place. I guess obviously. There will be more protocols taken in place. And I believe if there's no corruption, situations such as these wouldn't happen. Lives would not be lost. So I guess doing it step by step, doing it the right way, would, you might not expect situations such as the building collapse to happen, but having these little corruptions or these little things that might pop up, it could really change the whole scenario. Yeah. So I guess having no corruption would be a lot better.
Message ที่อยากจะ give to those authorities who had something to do with this incident.
I would say, on my personal opinion, that safety protocol should be more considerate. It should be taken in place. As you've seen, having safety protocols that may not be up to speculations has caused these type of scenarios to happen, and lives were lost. I believe it's not worth it. As a rescue officer, as a Thai person, it's not worth it to see such a scenario, see such a situation happening. So yeah, I would beg for safety protocols to be more serious and be taken more seriously in the future.
When earthquake happened, everybody, like almost everybody in Thailand thought they were, feeling dizzy.
Yeah.
So that reflects some types of education systems, do you think? Or
well, I would not blame it exactly on our educational system, because I understand that this type of scenario never happened before in Thailand, so we're not really that prepared. Compared to other countries where earthquake may be a normal thing, they are much more prepared. They are taught what to do. They know exactly what to do since they are young. So I guess we can learn from our lesson, and I guess it might be something that might not happen in 10 years or 20 years or a few decades, but we can learn from our lesson and teach ourselves or teach our young ones that situations like these can happen in the future, and it's better to be prepared than unprepared.
So since it's the first time, like not like the first time in Thailand, but it's happened, like rarely happened in Thailand. What was your first thought when earthquake happened?
Oh, during the earthquake, I was sleeping and I was woken up by the shaking. I was in a bit of a shock because my whole life I never experienced earthquake before, and I never thought there would be an earthquake in Thailand. But after seeing the scenario from the internet, from everywhere, I understand that okay, this is a serious situation that's currently happening, and I'm a part of this situation. I have to do something. So after I heard everything, there was a call that I have to go in and help. So I tried my best to go in, but during that day, the traffic was really bad. I was stuck for around 5 hours before I was able to get into the scenario. But yeah, I tried my best.
And you did great.
Thank you.
We're very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
So what kind of support would you like to see from the government?
In our current state, rescue foundations have not been given any government support for the support and well-being of
Not at all?
not really for our well-being of our volunteers and officers. Well, I would say we are risking our own life to save the lives of others. So some government support for the well-beings or for the help of our volunteers would be greatly beneficial and be greatly appreciated.
So could you give us a little more examples of what kind of support that you're looking for?
Yeah, so I guess support that we need might be life insurance for our volunteers and officers. Since we are a non-governmental organization, we don't get the benefit of these type of insurance.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah, I guess. And we're really risking our lives in each scenario.
So if one day you realize that it's true that good people tend to die young, would you still be a good person?
Well, I would honestly say I would still be a good person because if I'm gonna die young, well, at least I died a good life. I died doing good deeds. I died doing good things that I can be remembered by. So, yeah, I guess if I'm gonna die in a few days or in a few weeks, I'll be remembered from what I did. And I think I'm happy.
ขอให้ทุกคนกดติดตามพอดแคสต์ของครูพี่แอนด้วยนะคะเพราะว่าเราจะมีแขกรับเชิญมาให้ทุกคนได้รับชมและเรียนภาษาอังกฤษและเรียนรู้ข้อคิดดีๆไปพร้อมๆกันทุกๆเดือนเลยค่ะ